Okay. Well, hi, ladies.
Hi.
Hi. I've met y'all a couple of times. Yeah, we stalk you all the time.
Yes.
So I'm Yara. I'm Trini. I'm not Yara. This is Yara.
I'm Yara.
No, I'm Trini from A Book Lovers Review and TrinDee events. And
Yara from Once Upon a Twilight and Literary Beginnings of Red Carpet and
yeah, well, this is Abbi Glines, of course, yeah.
Yay!
So, if you had to describe your books in a couple of sentences, how would you? To maybe somebody that it's not familiar with you as an author or the new book.
Angsty, sexy drama. Intense, nail biting, and emotional. She said a couple of sentences, not words. Oh, okay. Sorry. I can't think of it. It's really angsty, kind of sad. It's actually the guy's point of view from Homeless, which is the first one.
Talk about Nan a little bit.
Okay.
Do you think that she would ever be able to redeem herself in any of these books? Or next is going to be
I think that we see her start to a little bit in Simple Perfection with the scene on the beach. I don't want to give too much away for people that haven't read it. But I do feel like in Simple Perfection that there's a little bit where you see that she's giving in a little bit where Nate is concerned. However, he's not ready to take a chance yet, and honestly that all just kind of goes down the drain when you see her controlling, manipulating ways with Grant in the Harlow Grant situation. I don't really know what's going to happen to her in the future. I do know I'm not planning on killing her. I know that is a hashtag tweet. But I don't have that in the plans yet. So.
Okay. And go ahead.
To Jamie.
Yes.
How did you go from writing Travis, Hottie, fight scene to Red Hill? Because that was like... I was expecting another contemporary, because I sometimes don't even read the blurbs, I'll just go straight into the book, and I was like, oh, I mean, how did you, it's like night and day.
It is, and I did that on purpose. Red Hill's actually 3 years in the making. I thought of the idea a long time ago. I didn't think it was that big of a deal that I did the transition, but apparently it was really surprising. But I just write what I like, what I'm interested in, and what I feel at the moment, and Red Hill is it.
Thank God it took 3 years and finally came out, because I loved it.
Yeah, thank you. Loved it. It was really good. Well, for Jamie, Scarlett is such a strong character, and she's like, set on,
finding her children.
Yes. Well, you're so dedicated. I haven't written down, but I'm Did you find yourself in her when you're writing her? I mean, she's so determined, and she's so, she's faith, that she's going to find her kids.
Scarlett is probably the character closest to me that I've ever written, and she will probably always be the closest character to me that I've ever written. I was actually Ted. I have 2 daughters. The daughters are the same age as mine. I describe them exactly the way that I see my daughters. So, in a lot of ways, she is me. But I felt like, in that situation, it's really important to show I like these really strong female characters, and I'm going to have a lot more of that in my book. So, Red Hill was just beginning.
She was really good. I loved her.
How was it to write his point of view?
I really enjoyed it. I like writing a guy's point of views. Not so much better than girls, but it's just different because with a girl's point of view, you kind of put yourself in their shoes, and so some of the things they do, you kind of, I know that's how I write. I get really angry at them and want to change, their attitudes and stuff to kind of reflect what I would do in that situation. But when you're writing in a guy's point of view, I don't feel like that, because you are able to separate yourself from them a lot more of it. I really enjoy it. I think I have more guys' point of views out now than I do girls. So.
Back to Abbi. How was it writing the beach scene and Simple Perfection?
I did a lot of pacing in my office, and I did a lot of crying. It was emotional. I don't want to give too much away, but I actually experienced it not from a person that I know, but something very similar happened on the beach when I was there, and I watched it happen. It wasn't someone I knew, but I watched the people that it happened to. It was years ago, but it was something that kind of stays with you, and you never really forget. And I knew that this was going to happen all along since he was introduced for the first time in Fallen Too Far. So I knew this was coming, but writing it was not easy. So it was emotional for me.
It's very hard reading.
I cried every time I read through it and re-edited it, and it was difficult.
I have to stop everything I'm doing and reading these books. I don't even care that I'm busy now.
I think all of y'all books are very emotional. Like, I think it was really hard, especially yours. Oh my goodness gracious, the very first book when I read it. It was really hard to get through. And when I was reading it, I was actually, as a group of us, we boxed for each other. I'm like reading it in the middle of reading, of talking, I literally had to like stop because I was crying so much. And I think that's why I love y'all books so much. It's like y'all really, do really
They
good
grab
job.
you.
Yeah, absolutely.
They do. Emotionally, they grab you.
Thank you. That's what I'm happy.
Yeah, which is what, to me, makes a book perfect.
Yeah.
Because you can read it and be entertained, but you didn't find an attachment as opposed to all three of these books. You feel like you're part of it, like you're in there with them, suffering or running or kissing.
We got really attached to all of the characters.
Good. That's what we want to have.
Yeah. So that's why it was really hard. But I know a lot that has to happen.
It was hard for me too, and I knew from the beginning it was coming. Even from Fallen Too Far, I knew that would eventually happen. That's why I never made any promises to that character when I did other characters. And when I was asked, I never said a word. But
I like the way it ended because we could see at the end where the next story.
I do believe that when Tripp's book comes out, it will be after Grant's book. So when Tripp's book comes out, I think a lot of people will forgive me that haven't for that, and they will understand, and it sets the place for a really good, deep hurting. I'm not quite done yet. So Tripp and
Have you guys read
yes, we got traded a long time ago.
So would your characters be able to survive in that
Situation.
That's a good question.
And not all of them. Yeah, unfortunately, Nan would probably make it. Yeah, because she's, I don't know. Reading that, sometimes people die that I wasn't expecting.
Exactly.
So I think that when you're dealing with zombies, it's a luck thing. You would not just be determined, although, the determination's there, but I guess Nan would make it for sure.
That's really sad.
That is sad. I don't know if the other ones, I'll stop thinking about sex enough to focus to survive. Yeah, they're a little obsessed, so.
Mine would totally make it to survivors.
Yeah.
How's their quiet?
Yeah.
They don't make a lot of noise.
See, I don't know that I have quiet characters.
Yeah.
Harlow would probably make it.
I just it's like off the Walking Dead. Do y'all like The Walking Dead? Is anybody
I've actually never watched it.
I've watched
I
about the first 4 episodes and I've stopped. You have to understand, I didn't watch Walking Dead until after I had read this.
Oh, okay.
So I felt like it pale in comparison to this. I wasn't happy with I don't know. It's kind of like when you read a book before a movie, even though they're just completely different.
Right, yeah.
I still had already read the thing, how people survive during that, and so watching it, actually when I watched it after I read this, because I read this, so I thought, I like Walking Dead. That's it. I'm told if I hang in, I would like it, but I just finished the first one.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I've watched every episode, but I didn't start watching it until 2 years later. I didn't start watching it until the end of season 2. I started watching season 1 because in my little podunk town we didn't have AMC, so I had to watch it on Netflix.
That's where I watched it.
And I'm really surprised that a lot of people think that I can see where the influence would come in, because there are some influence obviously from all the zombie things that I watch. But I'm really surprised that people think that the season 2 there's a doctor and they're on a farm and things like that, and they think that's where I got it from. But actually, the doctor in Red Hill, I was an extra tech and I actually cleaned for a radiologist, and that his farmhouse actually inspired the entire movie. And that was years before The Walking Dead.
She's been talking about this idea for a very long time.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a very big fan of The Walking Dead. I went to Comic-Con just because they were having me.
I'm so jealous.
But it was, Comic-Con is out of this world. Oh my God, that's a whole other story. Every time I read a book, just myself, I know a lot of people don't do it, but I always say this is a totally different ending than anything. Like, I try not to compare it. This is a whole different story, different person wrote it. So even if it has some kind of similarities, what does it matter? It has that's what it's all about. But I know a lot of people are like, it copies this and that. And it doesn't matter. Either way, the story was great. Is there going to be any more? Or is that supposed to be a secret?
I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't read the book, but there is a story, and I think you guys probably know what I'm talking about, that hasn't been told, that needs to be told, I feel like, and that would be somebody's journey.
Yes.
Two people's journey.
Yes.
And I think it's really important to tell their side of how they got from the beginning.
Definitely. Now, speaking of movies, anything further along in, deals or?
I don't know if you would say further along for me. We just got the contract signed last month for Hoover, so it's in the beginning stages. Hopefully, we'll see something happen.
And
So far, we had a producer attached on the line, Colleen. I was his name on the anyway. It's on the line. He produced The Green Lantern and The Game, and he has had Julie Hartman's script. I've read it. That's about as far as we've gotten. Last I heard, he was looking to attach a director, but I am not spoken with him, so I don't know.
it's baby steps.
Baby
So
steps.
hopefully they keep going. Get out there on Twitter and say you want movies. That's what you gotta
Twitter
do.
would help.
Yeah.
We've had movie interest that I'm not signed options on. I'm not interested in movies for mine because I don't feel like they would
For
be movies.
which book?
Any of them because they're all in series.
Okay.
I feel like I want a television series because I feel like that would be more fitting, and finally we had some interest in that. So we don't know where that's going to go at this moment. They've asked for numbers and things like that at this point. So I'm just holding my breath because it's really what I want. I feel like it's more of a TV drama series than it is a movie. I don't know how you would pick one of those couples and make a movie out of them when all of the couples have a story. So I don't really have a standalone. So it's different for me.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Vincent brothers every week.
Yeah.
Grove would be a fun thing to do, yeah.
Especially the truck scene. Yes.
I would prefer to see the Rosemary crew, but Seabreeze is the one that has the interest right now.
So, has anything, this is off, not book related, anything funny that has happened as a group to you guys or individually on this tour that you guys have been,
Well, this is pretty
that hasn't been on Instagram?
well, this has been on Instagram, yeah.
Well, I mean, we don't know the full story.
We
just see
pretty
the
much
picture.
Instagrammed everything.
We were
So
signing books at a book signing like this in San Diego. And Colleen randomly says, while we're signing people's books, we need to get tattoos. And we look at each other. Okay, what are we going to get? We signed some more books. People are all staring at us. I don't know what you think about it. Let's go tonight. We signed books tomorrow. So, long story short, we tried San Diego. The tattoo people close it Wednesday nights. Surprisingly well. Here's on. Colleen even came up with the idea of what we're going to get. So, it's all her fault. Yeah. So, Mom, it's all her fault. You don't blame me for everything.
We're pretty much an open book on tour.
Yeah, we've Instagrammed all
And everything funny, we Instagram. So.
And if they
Other
have
than
it
that,
in
we're either
Instagram,
on a
we
plane or
reacted
sleeping.
and Instagram it so that y'all can see it too. We're like, do it again.
We
So-
do have a contest every morning.
Yeah.
So we can get down to lobby first.
Yes.
I'm losing, but I did win this morning.
She did win this morning.
and I surprised everybody.
Ariel
I
was
thought I was
super
the
late
winner.
today, wasn't she?
She's actually on time.
Oh, she was on
late
time?
for the-
Yeah, she's always early, and she was on time this time.
With all her luggage.
We're all rushing to meet everybody, so we get them at 30 minutes early sometimes.
So what are y'all reading now? You reading anything?
No, I just finished editing take a chance and got in edits for Misbehaving right when I finished. So I'm so busy. And I have a book due on November 1st. I haven't started yet. So I have to write that too. So yeah, no reading from here.
You recommended one time, you recommended to me, I think it was in the video with Tyler, and you were like, you need to read Family Tree. Oh my gosh. You got read that one?
Oh, I love that. I love that.
It's not for everybody, but
It's not for
oh my
everybody.
goodness.
But typically people don't like my books. This is just kicking the heat up 100 more degrees. But if they like my steamy, they're gonna like this too.
It's a good departure.
It's just
too,
a
from
much.
everything that's out there.
Yeah, it's like you're watching Sons of Anarchy, reading Sons of Anarchy. That's what it reminds me. I love watching
It's so
that show.
disturbing, but you love it.
Yeah, I know.